the fastest growing Realty Executives franchise in the country. Welcome, John.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Great to have you. So, John, tell us a little more about Realty Executives.
I get started with Realty Executives, which is an international company. Our particular franchise is the fastest growing franchise in the United States.
Wow.
The big difference between Realty Executives and another type of realty company is we only hire people that are experienced, really know their product, their community, and specialize in doing interviews with you to make sure that we can meet those needs.
So you've got real estate agents, experienced ones, that are interviewing the buyers to meet their needs or the sellers to meet their needs. What else besides buying and selling does Realty Executives do?
Well, a lot of us specialize in investments, and that's one of my fortes, and I've been doing that for many, many years. I've taken the person with money or without money, and we've looked at not only purchasing a home for them, but how to work your home as a bank to afford doing an investment, whether it's an apartment complex, another home that you're going to use as a rental, a piece of land that you're going to develop and build. And we also have LLCs for the man that doesn't have $50,000. Maybe he's got a few dollars and he wants to buy a share in an LLC and be an equal partner. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Some of this stuff does take time, but you're talking about maximizing your investment money.
Okay. So there are several things that Realty Executives does. Their people will sell your house for you. They'll find a house for you. One of the things that's important, John, to the buyer, well, perhaps the most important thing to the buyer and the seller is that person they come in contact with from the company. And I understand that your people are known as executives, Realty Executives. How do you distinguish between the executive that you hire and the typical real estate agent that's out there?
Well, that's a very good question. The difference between an agent and an executive is definitely the hiring process with the experience. We only hire experienced agents that have done enough transactions and know what's happening out there in the community to serve you best. Remember, we have an ever-changing market. It changes all the time. You have to be up on what's going on to serve your client best.
So then, John, you're saying experience with your executives makes the difference.
Well, it does, but in the process of our face-to-face with you, the client, what we do is we ask specific questions. We want to make sure that we know what your goals are, and we're going to advise you accordingly. One, we want to meet those goals, but with our experience, we're going to tell you also how to get there and help you achieve that.
For example?
For example, if someone comes to me and says, John, I want to invest. How do I get started? Well, if you don't have a home, there are ways to get into investing. And one of those ways is by buying a share in an LLC investment company or an investment project, which we do. It can be a land acquisition, it can be an apartment complex, things like this. Probably the most simple way to do it is when you own your own home. Remember, we've experienced great uprise in price and a whole lot of equity for you to pull some equity out of your home, which is like a bank, and go ahead and invest in either a rental or land or building a home.
Well, thanks, John. It's really good to know. John, we were talking a little earlier about investments. Do you have any success stories that go along with that subject?
Yes, I do. I met a gentleman, 13 years ago, and he came to me with his problem. He was newly transferred into our area with the Border Patrol, and he was basically coming to me on investments. And first of all, we listened to him, interviewed him, looked at what his goals were, and then we added on what was really going to work. The first thing that we did is we found him a great buy. And we did that by purchasing a short sale, which is different than a foreclosure in the matter of fact that it's a pre-foreclosure where we negotiate with the bank to take less on a property. He bought one of those, moved in it, and after about 6 months, because we had a 6-month plan, pulled a little bit of equity out and bought another home as a rental. Through the course of these 13 years, he now has 13 homes, 2 fourplexes, and he just bought a piece of dirt that he's going to build a house on. Coincidentally, he also retired from the Border Patrol.
Wow, that is a success story. So here's a gentleman who needed a place to live. He wanted to own his own home, basically. You found him a great deal, and then just by working through this short sale process, you got him into that house. And then shortly thereafter, he's pulling money out to be able to do more investing.
Yeah.
How do our viewers contact John Lewis and Realty Executives?
Well, there's several ways you can do it. One of the easiest ways is to get to www.johnclewis.com. You can find my phone number there, which is 951-640-8562. You can also find my email address, which is johnlewis@realtyexecutives.com.
John, thank you.